Hello everyone! This lesson is about question forms, which you can find in your intermediate book, Unit 1.1, Grammar Part. Asking questions is an important part of having a conversation. So, in this presentation, we'll focus on different question forms to help you improve the way you ask questions. Then, we'll do some exercises, and finally, I'll suggest extra sources for further practice. Imagine you're at a party talking to someone you've just met. Here are some questions you may ask them. Can you group these questions into 4 categories, please? The first category is yes-no questions. Then we have object questions, subject questions, and finally questions with prepositions. Are these similar to your categories? Well, let's start with the first category, yes-no questions. These are closed questions. This means the answer is usually either yes or no. Are you having fun? Yes, I am. Or no, I'm not. Remember, in questions, we use the subject after the auxiliary verb. Let's have a look at this table. There are 2 auxiliary verbs in simple present tense. We say, do you eat meat? But does she eat meat? And in simple past, the auxiliary is did. As you see, we use the main verb in infinitive form, but you must remember to change the auxiliary depending on the subject and tense. Object questions, on the other hand, are open questions. We can give lots of different answers to these questions. They start with a question word like where, what, who, etc. As the table shows, after the question word where, we use the auxiliary verb do, then the subject you, and main verb live. Where do you live? Main verb is always in infinitive form, but you need to change the auxiliary again to match the subject and the tense. Who do you call most and who called you? Do you think these questions are different? Yes, tenses are different. And also, their structures are different. First one is an object question. We know the subject, it's you, but we don't know the person you call. It may be my boyfriend, my mom, and so on. In the second question, however, we don't know the subject. Somebody called you on the phone, but who? It's a subject question. In subject questions, we don't know the person or thing that performs the action. For example, who wrote these stories? We don't know the person that wrote these stories and want to ask about it. The answer is, Edgar Allan Poe wrote them. Edgar Allan Poe is the subject of this sentence. So, this question asks about the subject. The subject doesn't always have to be a person. It can also be a thing, like in this example, what makes you happy? Doing sports makes me happy. Doing sports is the subject, but it's not a person. What makes you happy is a subject question. Now, pay attention to word order in these questions. We don't use auxiliary verbs in subject questions. Use the question word and then the main verb in the correct form. The last category is questions with prepositions. When we use a verb with a preposition in questions, we usually keep the preposition. For example, speak to. We ask, who are you speaking to? You can use the preposition before the question word, but it's really formal and you can't use a preposition before who. Have a look at these examples. What do you dream about, or about what do you dream, are correct questions. About who are you thinking is not correct, because we can't use a preposition before who. Instead, you can say, about whom are you thinking? But remember, this is formal. Or you can just say, who are you thinking about? It's your turn now. Can you ask questions for the underlined parts in this sentence? You'll see the answers in the next slide, so pause the video now and write your questions for the underlined parts. Check your answers, please. For further practice, do the exercises in your pack and on My English Lab. Also, you can visit the web page for more exercises. Finally, write at least 2 questions that you'd like to ask your friends in the comments below. That's all for now. Have a nice day.